Aloha, I'm Sharon Weiner, and I'm the chair-elect of the Japan-America Society in Hawaii. I'm pleased to say that, and also vice president at DFS, Men's 10, for those of you from Japan. I'm pleased to introduce the panel on APEC 2011, and our topic is the bridge from APEC 2010 Japan to APEC 2011 in Hawaii. Our panelists, our distinguished panelists, I should say, I'll start with Peter Ho, who's the chairman of the Hawaii Host Committee, and Shacho at Bank of Hawaii. I think you all know Peter. Jim Steele is the director of the Office of Economic Policy for the U.S. State Department. Jim. And in the middle, Mr. Takuya Sasayama, director of the APEC Division in the Economic Affairs Bureau, Japan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MOFA. Welcome. And these two gentlemen, I'm told by Jim, are actually their counterparts in Japan and the U.S., so it'll be a very meaningful discussion. I will then kick it over to Peter. Do you want to start?
Want me to kick off?
Sure.
Sure. Up to the podium, or
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sharon. Good morning, everyone. I've been asked to cover a couple of topics. First, I want to share with you my takeaways as a member of the Hawaii Host Committee. I'm sorry. Share with you my takeaways as chair of the Hawaii Host Committee in our travel over to Yokohama a few weeks ago for APEC 2010, which was a wonderful event if you weren't there. I'd also like to share with you some of our plans and ideas around Leaders Week next year, because as you know, APEC 2011 Leaders Week will be right here in this convention center a little less than a year from now. So let me begin with impressions of Yokohama. This was really my first APEC, my first opportunity to witness a global summit event. So it was really quite an experience. I have a couple of takeaways. The first one is really just the sheer magnitude of the event itself. I mean, towards the end of the week's events, Sunday morning I woke up in the hotel and pulled in the daily Yomiuri to find that 4 of the 5 stories on the front page of the Sunday paper in Tokyo had to do with APEC and had Yokohama as the dateline. And I think that our community will find that both interesting and invigorating a year from now as we host Leaders Week ourselves on behalf of the United States. I was prepared for the depth and the breadth of global governmental leadership. The individuals there, it was really quite exciting and interesting to see these individuals in the flesh, if you will. I certainly was prepared for the depth and the breadth of business leadership with the senior executives from around the Asia-Pacific region in town for APEC, as well as in town for the CEO Summit that took place that same week. What was interesting to me was the magnitude and the breadth of what I'll refer to as simply the international global community. Those, whether it be members of the press or consultants or commerce and or governmental advocacy organizations. And I think that that population of folks, that global population of folks, are really a grouping of people that don't have as much connectivity to our community as we would like. And conversely, I think that this is an interesting grouping of people that our community is really not used to interfacing with. So I look forward to them joining us next year. The second impression I had in Yokohama was simply the degree and level of warmth that Japan showed towards Hawaii and the Hawaii delegation. Whether from the city of Yokohama itself, whether from the Keidan Ren, who ran the CEO Summit, or whether from the American Chamber of Commerce in Japan. Just an incredible, and I think we've known this for many years, but we certainly felt it in Yokohama in Japan, just this cooperation and level of kinship, if you will, between Hawaii, our community, and Japan. So we were there to observe. We were also there to promote Hawaii, our community, and the islands as a place to visit as well as a place to do business. We did exactly that. I was joined there by Marcy Greenwood. Sharon was along with us. Jim Tollison, head of the Chamber of Commerce, was there, all on their own nickel, I might add. And really, we worked very hard to put Hawaii's best foot forward for that week in Yokohama. We were able to join in with Senator Inouye at a luncheon hosted by the National Center for APEC. Senator gave a great keynote speech, and the trade for the senator giving a great keynote speech was our ability to join that luncheon and really make it a very Hawaiian experience. Mayor Kanoi sent over 300 leis, which we presented to the several hundred people who were in attendance there. And we also showed a short video clip, which I'd like to share with you now, if possible, which I think gave people with a little less sense for Hawaii, I think a different sense for Hawaii. Let's take a look at that.
Is how we describe it. Of course, Hawaii is already well known around the world for its sun, sand, and surf, and world-class tourism facilities. But out-of-the-box thinking and raw entrepreneurial drive have led to advances, from breakthrough vaccines to a cutting-edge satellite. Projects impressive in themselves, they have contributed to an atmosphere of innovation, and that in turn promotes new business. It is a feeling of connectedness that transcends national boundaries and great oceans. As the United States looks toward the Asia-Pacific region, Hawaii's unique confluence of cultures positions us as a nexus between the U.S. and Asia. Trans-Pacific relationships have brought East and West together to create new economic opportunities that benefit from the best of both worlds. Today, we are national leaders in renewable energy use and research, and have committed to getting a full 70% of our power from green energy by the year 2030. It's why U.S. Secretary of Energy Stephen Chu called Hawaii a unique testbed for renewable energy. In the health and life sciences, our diverse ethnicity, modern research facilities, and teams of world-class researchers have given Hawaii the tools to become a leader in the advancement of new therapies. Vaccines for tropical diseases like dengue and West Nile, trials by top pharmaceutical companies, artificial corneas, in vitro research, and research into cancers prevalent in Asian Pacific populations. We are the premier site in the world for astronomy, with our telescope arrays on Mauna Kea and Haleakala. Of higher education in an exhilarating milieu that bridges East and West. The nearly 60,000 alumni of our East-West Center include President Obama's mother and stepfather, as well as several currently serving national leaders. India's Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh, Singapore's President, S.R. Nathan, China's Vice Minister of Education, Hao Ping, and Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister, Trairong Suwanakiri. This spirit of discovery drives innovation in earth and ocean research. Hawaii is a federal center of excellence for research in ocean sciences. Hawaii companies have created innovative software to map ocean depths and provide research for the hull of the fastest ship in the world. And true to our island culture, we are uniquely suited to study and test ideas for sustainable growth. Carrying forward the indigenous culture's traditional systems of land management, Hawaii strives for a balanced environment. It's time to take a fresh look at Hawaii, the right place at the right time.
You have a print version of that video in your packet, I believe, and we were able to distribute well over 1,000 of those print versions to various constituents who were at Yokohama for APEC Leaders Week there. So now Yokohama is done. We've got a little less than 12 months, a little less than a year until it comes to our shores. And let me spend a little time discussing what the host committee has planned in preparation for that exciting event. Let me begin with our structure. As I think most of you know, in April, Senator Inouye was active in constructing what has come to be known as the Hawaii Host Committee. That is a public-private partnership consisting roughly of half of the membership being for the private sector, the other half being from government, from the military, from the not-for-profit sector, as well as from organized labor. And I'm pleased to and happy to tell you that that has been a great experience. It's been the kind of combination of business and civic and governmental leadership I think required to make this event successful for us next year. What we've also been able to do is construct a staff, and this has been a challenging task for us, because when you think about the need to bring together the kind of talent and energy and can-do-itness, if you will, required to put on an event of this magnitude for exactly 1 year and then have those resources kind of dissipate back into the community sets up for a very challenging endeavor for us. What we've done is hire effectively three paid staff at this time, and we have full-time loaned executives from the East-West Center, from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, from the Bank of Hawaii, from Hawaii Tourism Authority, as well as from Booz Allen Hamilton. So we've been able to supplement through the generosity and the commitment of a number of community entities in town. We've also been very, very fortunate to have been blessed with a good amount of pro bono work. So for instance, our legal work, all of our legal work is covered by Carl Smith Ball on a pro bono basis, and I tell you, we send them a ton of stuff, and they're so generous with their time to take care of that. Likewise, our accounting and financial components are taken care of by KMH. So if you run into Randy Carnes or Peter Hanashiro, please thank them. They're providing this service to us free of charge. We recently have hired Stryker Weiner at Yokota to be our PR and marketing firm. They are a vendor for us, but I will tell you they're also providing a lot of value to us effectively on a pro bono basis. And then finally, RCUH is helping us on an administrative basis, helping us with a number of the RFP and procurement process, and they too are doing this at a reduced rate. At least I believe that's the case, Marcy. So a lot underway. A staff has been built. Really, two strategic objectives of the host committee. First and foremost is to assist the State Department and the White House and the Secret Service in what is really their responsibility to host a world-class Leaders Week next year here in Hawaii for the President and, frankly, for the country. And so our job is really one of support to assist them in that responsibility. Along with that comes, I think, an opportunity. And that opportunity is to use Leaders Week, use that week where really Hawaii will be on the global stage to position us for both short-term and long-term economic opportunity. And let me spend really kind of the balance of my time left here on the stage to share with you kind of what our thoughts are around that second piece, if you will. Really, we're looking to do three things from a strategic standpoint. We're looking to help internationalize Hawaii, our community, so that we don't think of ourselves just as part of the United States. Obviously, we're very proud to be part of the United States, but we also happen to be in a part of the world, as Marcy alluded to, where we really are as well a part of the Asia-Pacific region. And so we want to use Leaders Week and that opportunity next year as an opportunity to help promote that sense within our own community. Secondly, we want to improve our prospects in what we call the MICE business. So the business meeting side of the visitor industry, we've got a terrific position and market share in the leisure side of the business. That really has not translated over the years into the business side, in large part because of our success on the leisure side. And we think APEC Leaders Week is a tremendous opportunity for us to help balance that equation, if you will. And then finally, our third objective is to, and as you saw, I think, in the video clip just a little while ago, an opportunity to really share with the rest of the world, certainly the Asia-Pacific region, some of the great things happening in our own backyard in the areas of technology, in the areas of research and development, and in the areas of education. So those are our three strategic objectives to really take advantage of Leaders Week next year. To do that, we obviously need to work very hard on building a marketing plan. We need to work very hard on sponsored events. So we will be reaching out to many of you in the community in that regard. I think there are a number of different exposure opportunities aside from events and aside from a marketing plan that we have, that we're focused on over the next 6 months or so. Obviously, beautification efforts, and then I think perhaps as importantly as anything, really the idea of using Leaders Week next year as really just a seedling to generate a long-term opportunity to position Hawaii more towards the Asia-Pacific region. So obviously a lot of things going on. We truly appreciate the support of the community thus far and look forward to working with you in the coming months as we lead up to Leaders Week. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Mr. Sasayama.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Takuya, Sasayama, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Japan. I took care of Yokohama and APEC 2010 this year. And quite frankly, 3 weeks is not enough time to recuperate from the heat of Yokohama. But nevertheless, and I was asked to start the preparation for next year already. So I just flight in to Hawaii this morning, just before this seminar starts. Well, APEC is still, in my view, a young and dynamic kind of economic cooperation, so-called. It's only 20 years of age, and but nevertheless, it consists of 21 countries and regions, which includes, of course, the United States and Japan, and also China and most of the ASEAN countries, and also Australia, New Zealand, and a country like Latin America as well. So it covers almost 40% of the global population, as well as the 60% of the global GDP. But given the fact that this diversity of the membership, the APEC, it is not easy to reach consensus all the time. If you can imagine, we are dealing with the economic policy mainly, and it's not easy to reach consensus among each and every government and economy's point of view. And it's a long process to reach the summit meeting towards the end of the year. But I remember we started the discussion just 1 year ago in Tokyo, and we had 3 SOMs meeting, senior officials meeting, and a year-long discussion make us, we managed to reach consensus, which called the Yokohama Vision this year. Before going into what we have done in Yokohama, I just briefly share with you the challenges we had to face this, to prepare for the 2010 APEC this year. I just said APEC is still 21 years old. it started in 1989. We started with ministerial meeting. We didn't have the summit meeting in the beginning. But however, in 1993, the then President Clinton started the summit meeting in Blake Island. And that is, from that year, we have an annual summit meeting just until this year. The challenges of 2010 APEC was that we had a very ambitious goal called BOGO goal, which was set in 1994 when Indonesia hosted APEC in a place called BOGO, very place near to their capital, Jakarta. The contents of this goal was to achieve a free and open trade and investment by the year 2010 among the developed economies of APEC. And also in 2020, we are reaching open and free trade of all economies of APEC. This means that we have to assess whether we have achieved this goal or not this year. But the difficulty is that the BOGO goal doesn't give us a concrete threshold or numerical target of any kind. And it is difficult for us to assess how we can how we can conclude ourselves we have arrived this goal or not. This is number one. But in politically sense, we cannot say we have failed to achieve the goal our leader said back in 1994. But nevertheless, everybody knows there is no perfect open and free trade. So the conclusion was that we have done significant progress, but at the same time, we need to do more job in the coming years. That was the conclusion of BOGO goal. But at the same time, if this goal was met, we have to have another direction for APEC. Since BOGO goal was leading kind of aspirational goal for developed countries for APEC, but since most of the work is done for the developed economy, we need to have a common goal, which includes all, which could lead the 21 all economies in the coming years. This is another different task for us. Well, I just said APEC is a process, and it's not a one single-shot meeting at the end of the year summit. So we started the discussion in Tokyo last year around December by setting 3 agendas for APEC. The first one is called the regional economic integration. This is more or less a traditional agenda for APEC. We deal with kind of mini WTO agendas to liberalize trade and liberalize investment and liberalize services, etc. So this is more or less a traditional agenda for us. But nevertheless, we wanted to revitalize the discussion, given the fact that the global Doha round negotiation is not in a good is not showing good progress. But we wanted to kind of give new energy to the discussion by bringing this agenda in front of us. The second agenda was a growth strategy. This is more or less new topic for APEC, but I think the leaders, political leaders worldwide, need to discuss this, given the crisis, the financial crisis, and everyone wants to get out of this recession mode and wants to give a pathway to a new growth. And that's the reason we've taken up this agenda, and we successfully reached a conclusion for the APEC growth strategy. We had a good collaboration with G20 process, which gives a global kind of growth strategy for us, and we kind of, for APEC, we customize the growth strategy for Asia-Pacific regions. And this is the area, the second area we discussed throughout 2010. The third area is called the human security area, which complements the two big agendas for APEC, which includes disaster preparedness or health problem or the food security for this region. The purpose of this agenda is to facilitate a good environment for people to go into business in a secured way. And this is more or less a topic favored by developing our counterparts. And this is a good discussion for us to unite all 21 economies. And I'm not going into the detail of Yokohama vision here, but the three main points is just I have explained. We are aiming at economically integrated community, and secondly, robust community which deal with the growth strategy, and thirdly, the secure community, a community that provides a more secure economic environment. What I think is by adopting the Yokohama vision, we managed to give guidance to APEC future. This is more or less a middle or longer term vision for APEC. And we kind of rearrange the agendas and update the agenda for APEC after 21 years. And we are doing this with good collaboration with our next host, the US. We actually started discussion by the previous year, which was held in Singapore. So Singapore, Japan, US alliance, we had a strategic thinking that we want to revitalize APEC by 3 consecutive like-minded economies. That was our big aim. And I think the detail will be given by my colleague Jim Steele later. And also, I just want to talk about US-Japan collaboration in detail, which I think you have a fact sheet handout in here. Just 2 months ago, October 27, our Foreign Minister Maehara-san visited Honolulu and released a fact sheet here. And we have already started a collaboration with US and Japan by giving some concrete agendas and concrete projects in APEC. There is 4 articulated areas for APEC, US-Japan collaboration, starting with food security. We had a first ever ministerial meeting in Niigata this year, and also gender issues. We had a big conference prior to Yokohama in Gifu, and also climate change issues. What we are planning to do some projects helping out Pacific Island nations next year. And lastly, the emergency preparedness. Our experts are starting the discussion how we can well prepare for this region to secure a good environment for business. So things are moving and things are evolving. And I think this year and coming year will give another impetus and energy to APEC region, which I believe give good influence to not only the Asia-Pacific region, but also the global situation and the global economy as well. Thank you. Just a brief introduction of what we have done this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, very much for the introductions. Appreciate that. And I'd like to start off by thanking the organizers of this very important conference for inviting me to speak. It's an opportunity that I've been looking forward to very much. The topic I'm going to address, it's follow on from Mr. Sasayama's, of course, is U.S.-Japan cooperation in the region, particularly through APEC. It's an important topic for us, for Japan, for Hawaii, and indeed for the whole region. I'd first like to underscore our recognition in the United States that the Asia-Pacific is critically important to our country's economic future. The United States is committed to being an active, engaged, and constructive partner with this part of the world. Twice this year, Secretary Clinton has been in Hawaii outlining America's policy for the region, including our engagement with regional organizations like APEC. Most recently, of course, President Obama was in the region at the APEC leaders meeting in Yokohama, stressing the importance of the Asia-Pacific region to the range of U.S. interests. Lift it up a little bit more. Okay, is that better? Sorry. APEC's 21 members stretch from Chile to China. They account for, as we've heard, over half of the global economy. They purchase some 58 to 60% of our goods exports and comprise a market of around 2.7 billion potential consumers. 7 of the United States' top 15 trade partners are in APEC. But we're not just talking about trade here. As President Obama stated at the APEC leaders meeting last year in Singapore, if we can increase our exports, United States exports to APEC economies, by just 5%, we will increase the number of jobs that are supported by exports by hundreds of thousands. Now, that's a pretty good trade-off, a pretty good ratio. Secondly, I want to underscore that the U.S.-Japan relationship is, in fact, a cornerstone of our policy in Asia. Japan is a staunch ally, and it continues to be among our most important trading partners. The U.S. and Japan together generate over a third of global output. Both of us owe much of our economic resilience, strength, and growth to the bilateral economic relationship. We recognize that we need to work together to sustain productive, growing domestic economies and to maintain a strong international system based upon free markets, opportunity, and effective and responsible economic governance. At the same time, we recognize the need to continue our efforts to expand trade and investment between our two economies, as well as with the rest of the region. Our cooperation in APEC plays a critical role in realizing these goals. I do want to applaud Japan for its hard work over the course of the past year, and in fact longer than the past year, because it really does take longer to set up this whole series of events, in developing a forward-looking agenda for APEC that we will attempt to carry forward this year as we move towards the next leaders meeting in Honolulu next November. In our view, APEC is a key regional forum for economic cooperation for several reasons. Its activities create an environment that support higher quality growth and address trade and investment barriers, including fostering the norms and standards for level playing fields. It also promotes experimentation and cooperation in trade and investment and other areas that wouldn't otherwise happen in the region. APEC creates, this is important, APEC creates building blocks to high-quality 21st century trade agreements and works to enhance the ability of economies, APEC member economies, to undertake and to implement such agreements. There's a little bit of almost misunderstanding that APEC is a single event. I oftentimes get a question, well, where is APEC going to be this year? I can't really say APEC is going to be in Honolulu. The leaders meeting will be in Honolulu. But in point of fact, there is a whole series of meetings at the expert level, at the senior official level, and even at the ministerial level that lead up to the leaders meeting that will in fact be here in Honolulu. The work of these officials gives APEC a strong leg up in terms of developing practical solutions to trade problems, to problems of human security, food security, the spread of infectious disease, investment, and a whole host of other initiatives that are important both to our economic growth and to our physical well-being. APEC also does work very, very closely with the private sector. This is one of the things that Peter noted. We work closely with the private sector over the course of the year. we also depend very, very heavily on the private sector for helping us to organize and to conduct these meetings. I mean, it's a huge, tremendous challenge. We couldn't do it without the help of the private sector, so thank you very much. We appreciate that, and all of the other members of the host committee that are with us today. Mr. Sasayama spoke about it briefly, but what we viewed as a critical opportunity over the past 3 years, or over the last 2 years and concluding this year, to revitalize APEC, to make its contributions to economic growth in the region and economic stability in the region more lasting and more innovative. As hosts in 2010 and 2011, Japan and the U.S. have worked closely together to coordinate our host year agendas. In fact, Japanese delegations worked with us very, very closely as far back as September of 2009 when you first visited Washington for discussions on how we would approach our 2-year, how we would build off of the Singapore year in 2009 and approach our 2 years. We wanted to deliver what we thought of as a 1-2 punch, where the achievements of Japan's year, 2010, helped set the stage and shape the deliverables that we would pursue, the deliverables, the outcomes that we would pursue in 2011. I want to highlight 2 key outcomes from Japan's host year that we're very proud of, and we think Japan is justifiably proud of as well. The first is APEC's move to outline a 21st century agenda for trade, investment, and regional economic integration that goes way beyond 2010. This will ultimately culminate in what we think of as a free trade area of the Asia Pacific, or otherwise known as FTAP. You may have read about that. Tariffs have dropped significantly in our region. APEC's leaders in Yokohama recognized that it's ever more important now for our trade regimes to address non-tariff barriers. We've taken care of many of the tariff areas. We need to work now on the non-tariff barriers in order to spur sustainable, lasting growth throughout the rest of the century. So in 2011, we will seek to advance this agenda by working to define, shape, and address the next generation of trade and investment issues that will have to be a major part of our new trade agenda and our new trade agreements in the region, including FTAP. A second part of that, or another part of that, is going to feature very, very heavily in our work in APEC this year. That will be building cooperation to tackle the regulatory issues that are part and parcel of those non-tariff barriers. The second key outcome of Japan's leadership in 2010 is APEC's commitment to attaining higher quality economic growth, and this is one of the things that Mr. Sasayama discussed at some length. Under Japan's leadership, APEC articulated a strategy for regional growth that is balanced within and across APEC economies, that is inclusive of all members of our societies, and empowers them with the skills and opportunities to prosper in the global economy. We want to create a growth strategy, our growth that is sustainable environmentally, supportive of innovative and knowledge-based economies, and secure against a range of threats to economic well-being, such as food insecurity, natural disasters, pandemic disease, and yes, even terrorism. This is an important development. In concert with APEC's regional economic integration effort, the growth strategy helps to set forth a comprehensive and well-rounded agenda for regional economic growth in the 21st century. By addressing the quality of growth in the Asia-Pacific region, we can foster greater public support for further trade and further investment liberalization. Mentioned a moment ago that APEC is not just a leaders event. We, in fact, in the United States will have a series of major meetings that begin next week here at the East-West Center with 2 days of examination of views on the Asia-Pacific region and the very first informal senior officials meeting. The next set of formal meetings will be or the first set of formal meetings actually will be in late February, early March in Washington, D.C. These are meetings of senior officials. They will also include committee meetings of a number of committee meetings of technical experts and bureaucratic level officials. That's you and I. That's our bailiwick. Second set of meetings takes place in Big Sky, Montana. Okay, think agriculture, think trade, think whatever you want to think. Big Sky, Montana. That will be in late May. Third set of meetings in San Francisco. Major events at that meeting will, of course, be the senior officials meetings, but there will also be several private sector-led events that we intend to explore, or at which we will intend to explore health issues, issues of transportation, energy efficiency in transportation. This should also include a ministerial level conference of transportation and energy folks. Finally, 2011 November, Honolulu plays host to the concluding senior officials meetings, finance and trade ministers meetings, the dialogue between APEC leaders and chief CEOs. This is one of the things that Peter was describing. And finally, the APEC Leaders Summit. Concluding, I would just state simply that APEC 2011 is a tremendous opportunity for the United States, and again, to echo Peter, a tremendous opportunity for Honolulu and Hawaii to exhibit leadership. We will build on Japan's efforts to define a 21st century economic agenda for the region. We will build on an enduring piece of the economic architecture for the region that is open, free, transparent, and fair. A lot is at stake here, especially at a time when we are trying to create jobs here at home by expanding our exports abroad. But forging closer ties with the most economically dynamic part of the world is critical to this effort, especially since American products, innovation, and know-how are competitive and in high demand in the region. APEC 2011 is an important chance to showcase our strengths in the region, as well as to underscore to our fellow citizens the importance of trans-Pacific trade for economic well-being, not only in the region, but in the whole of the United States. We're firmly convinced that the Asia-Pacific region represents the future of the global economy. We're going to be in this region. We are an Asia-Pacific power, as the Secretary has stated, as my Secretary has stated. We continue to work here, and we're very, very excited about bringing APEC 2011 Leaders Week to Honolulu. Thank you very much.